y'all. Picking back up into Psalm 91. I want to finish up where we were yesterday. I was at the very end and we were kind of running over, so I stopped. But we'll pick up there. In verse 2, it starts, and again, we're in Psalm 91, verse 2. It starts in, I will say of the Lord. And remember, we talked about early on in the saying that I will say, we say what we believe. If we believe something to be true, we don't mind saying it. But we very rarely say anything that we're not quite sure is truth because we don't want to be foolish. We don't want to come across as foolish or not knowing the truth. And so if we believe, then we speak. And we talked about Paul in those scriptures, so that is, of course, back in the Devos. If you want to catch that one, you can. But when we say something, it's because we believe it. And so, in looking at all of these things and trusting He is my God, on Him I lean and rely, and in Him I confidently trust, we say those things. We speak those things, giving life to those words. So it's in the saying. I am saying He is my God. I am saying I trust Him. I say I am dependent on Him. I am dependent on who He is. I say I rely on Him. I say I lean on Him. He is my refuge. He is my fortress. He has secured me. He defends me. He is Elyon. He is Shaddai. He is Yahweh. He is Elohim. Now, you think about when struggle comes, when trouble comes, when things are just not going our way, when our day seems to just keep punching us in the face, or when it's just a lot of little things like nipping at your heels, when it just feels like every time you turn your head, there's something else to deal with. Perspective. This is a shift in perspective. When we, in those moments, and can I point my finger back here? I'm going to mark this one to watch several times. But in those moments, when things seem a little chaotic, and when our problems seem to be magnified in front of us, or when we do get some terrible news, unexpected, when things don't go the way that we had hoped or were planning, and we had experienced some kind of disappointment, I will say, He is my God. He is my refuge. He is my fortress. He is my defender. He is the one that I trust. I am dependent on Him. He has secured me. He is my God. And in this moment, going through those list of things, and we don't like to talk about disappointment or struggles or the Christian having to deal with things that stink, but this is our hope and our protection, our guard against our, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. Because see, there would be no reason to have to dwell in the secret place or to remain stable and fixed under the shadow of the Almighty, whose power no foe can withstand, if He did not know that there would be troubles, trials, distresses, and frustrations in this life. Remember John 16:33. We read that at least once a week. So let's just go there. This was not on my plans, but this is right. John 16:33 says, in the world you have tribulation, trials, distresses, frustrations, but be of good cheer. Be of good cheer. Are you kidding me? You're talking about having tribulation, trials, distress, and frustrations, yet you say be of good cheer? Yes. Take courage. Be confident, certain and undaunted. Confident. Didn't we talk about that yesterday? In that He is my God, on Him I lean and rely, and in Him I confidently trust. Confident. undaunted, for I have overcome the world. I have deprived it of power to harm you and have conquered it for you. The conqueror would be the one who has defeated. Conquered would mean that you are on top, victorious, which leads me back to being under the shadow of the Almighty, whose power no foe can withstand. So maybe you are experiencing some kind of trouble or trial or frustration, or you received some bad news, or there is something that kind of slapped you upside the head that you weren't expecting. It did not take God by surprise. I promise you that he did not send it, because he cannot be the God who heals and the God who sends disease. That's just wrong. He is good. He has no bad in him, but he is the healer. He is God Almighty. He is good and he is faithful. He is unchanging. And so we can run to that secret place. We can go to the refuge. We can find our place in the fortress and stronghold. And we say, he is my God. I am dependent upon him. I trust him. I am confident based on experience. And again, the names of God, when we read the names of God, they were given because he manifested himself in those characteristics, having that character and those attributes. It's his self-revelation. He was called God Almighty because he showed himself as God Almighty. He was called Yahweh because he showed himself as the redeeming, covenant-keeping God. And what I want more than anything else in all of our time together is for revelation to come to you that he is who he says he is, and that he will be that to you. That if you will be his people, if I will be his people, then he will be my God. And as he said in Exodus chapter 6, and you will know that it is me that has done this thing. Ooh, I cannot wait to get into tomorrow. I'll see y'all then. Bye.